Welcome to another free art lesson. Today's going to be another exciting one for us. We're going to do Snowcapped Mountains. This is going to be an easy lesson plan for you. Watch closely as I paint the sky behind the mountains, then do the mountains, and then we'll take the frisket off, and then all of a sudden we'll have some white paper, and I'll show you how to finish up this painting real easily with these snow-capped mountains by removing that frisket. You're going to have a nice white paper under there. It's going to be exciting. The frisket I put on with a paintbrush. I used an old number 8 round brush. When you use frisket, I would suggest that you not use your good watercolor brushes. Use an old brush, preferably a synthetic brush, and I would use nothing smaller than a number 8 or a number 10 to apply the frisket. Then you can clean your brush out afterwards and save it and use it again. Now, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the sky. So I'm going to take some of my cobalt blue, a little bit of my quinacridone rose, which is sort of a rose color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply come back here behind the clouds, behind the sky, behind the mountains, and I'm simply going to put in some color and we'll create the illusion that there's a sky back here. So this will be our sky area behind the mountain. I'm going to change color a little bit. In this case, I've used a little bit of the, sort of the violet color. I'm going to come back and I'm going to switch over to just a cobalt blue, maybe a little touch of cerulean blue together, and we're going to have a nice little color change going on. So what I've done is I've got this color going on behind the mountains. Now, one of the reasons why I need this color behind the mountain is because when I pull that frisket off, I'm going to have white paper there. If I want that to be showcased, I've got to have a contrast of dark behind light in this case, since the mountains are going to be lighter. All right, so we'll take a little bit of our color and we'll create a little bit more of the sky up above, a little few brush strokes. The lesson plan is really not about the sky, so we'll just put a suggestion there's an interesting sky back there and let it go at that. How's that? That's about as simple as I could paint one, I suppose. A couple little white clouds in there, some dark behind the mountains. Now what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to put in some color basically on this mountain right here. So I'm going to take a little bit of a light green and I'm going to come in here and just put in a nice, interesting light value here. There's going to be some green in this area of the snow-capped mountains as well. So you're going to see that in this particular scene. Over here, I'll take and change that color. So the distant mountain is getting a little bit of that light green effect. Here, I'm going to take and use a little bit of my ultramarine blue deep and maybe come in with a little bit of my hooker green deep. And then what I want to do is I want to come in and paint this particular side of the mountain that particular color. So you can see now there's a little difference between these two sides of the mountain. Here I might want to get just a little darker. So I'm going to take a little more hooker green deep, a little bit more of my ultramarine blue deep, mix it together, and then this side of the mountain may get a little bit different treatment. So this mountain is in front of this one. So notice how I've treated this area of the mountain different than this area, and I've treated this mountain in the distance a little different than this mountain right here. So let's go back, add just a little more blue to our green, and then we'll come in and add a little more color here, a little darker on this side, and all of a sudden I'm going to just take water on my brush and eliminate some of that paint and water by just picking it up with my 1-inch flat brush. See how I did that? The reason for that is I'm going to have an area of trees in front of that, so I want to make sure that I've got enough room. I'm going to take and put a little bit of color back here on this mountain on one side, and then I'm going to dry this painting with my hair dryer, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to remove the frisket and have a little fun with this. So stay with me here now. Now the painting is dry. I'm going to come in and I'm going to take just a little bit more dark in a couple of areas and add that to it. So watch what I do. Let me take a little more of my green. I'll hit just a little bit more green just in a couple of areas. I'm going to come over on this side of the mountain with a little bit darker color, and we're going to hit just a couple of areas with some dark over there. Now what I want to do is I want to do the same idea with this side of the mountain, and then we'll quickly dry it one more time, and then we'll be ready to go. We'll take this frisket off. It just needs a little more dark in a couple of areas, and then we'll be good to go. Same thing over here. We're going to have a little bit more color over on this side, just in a couple of areas. We don't want to cover it all, but we just want a little bit more color, just a couple of places. Now, if I don't have enough color there, then the contrast won't work with the frisket. So we got to make sure that we have enough contrast going on, and I think I do. So let me take a minute. I'll dry this again, and then we're going to come back and we'll be able to take the frisket off, put the finishing touches on it for you. That'll be real easy. The painting is now dry. I'm going to come in and I'm going to take and lift off this frisket, and you're going to see the Snowcapped Mountains. Watch what happens. I've got a frisket remover. This is a rubber cement pickup or frisket remover. You can get it at any of the art stores. Just ask the folks, the friendly folks at the art stores. They'll be happy to show you where they are. See now how you've got the interesting Snowcapped Mountains? Let me pull the frisket off this side over here on this particular mountain, the forward mountain, the larger mountain here in the foreground. We'll get all that frisket off, and all of a sudden now we got some Snowcapped Mountains. Now what do we have to do? We have to add back in some shadow area, don't we? So this area over here is going to be in shadow, so we want to make sure that we've got a little bit of the shadow effect on this side of the mountain. It'll be in shadow. A little bit of the effect on this side of the mountain here. This will be in shadow as well. And we're going to keep this area over here light and this area light. And all of a sudden we've got these wonderful Snowcapped Mountains. One other little trick here is to take and just soften a couple of edges. Let me show you a little trick. If you want to have a little bit softer edge in some of these areas, just take your finger with a little water from your brush and soften a couple of edges if you feel that it's a little bit too stark. See how I can do that just with the side of your finger? Very simple. You can also use a Q-tip to do this. But watch that. See how I've just softened a couple of edges so they don't jump out quite as hard edges? See that? How simple that is? Just a lot of fun. You can do that more and more. You can do it over here a little bit, but not everywhere. You want some soft edge and some hard edge, obviously. Now what I'm going to do is one little trick, and then you'll get to see the finished product. I'm going to take a little bit of my green, a little bit of my blue, and we'll put in a suggestion of maybe some evergreen trees here. This is something you can do in your exercise, or if you want to make this into a little painting, you can do that as well. But just to give you an example, I won't do the whole area, just a little bit of it, just to show you how you can put in the look of some evergreen trees. Now what you may want to do is not get too carried away and have too many trees, just a few. But that sort of anchors this mountain and gives you something in the foreground. So just a suggestion of a couple of trees here and there. Don't get too elaborate with it. And that's all you'll need to do is just a few trees like this. I'll do about half of it, and then you'll get to see exactly how it would look. Take and pull the color away like so, and you can see just the tops of those trees sticking up now. Remember, this is a long way away. It's miles away, so you're not going to see a lot of detail that far away. You'll just see the tops of these particular evergreen trees up here on the mountain. Just a suggestion now. That's how easy it is to do Snowcapped Mountains. Practice this at home, have a lot of fun. Remember, have a little variety going on. Notice how this is lighter, this is darker over here. Have a little fun with that. You have a shadow side and a light side to your mountain. Don't put your frisket on so even. You'll notice I have more frisket on this side than this side as an example. You'll notice that this mountain's smaller, further away than this mountain. Add some trees to the area. Have a lot of fun with it. Don't forget to have a little darker area of sky behind the mountains so that your mountains are showcased. I hope you've enjoyed this particular lesson plan. I hope you'll join me for more free lesson plans. We look forward to seeing you in the future. My name is Tom Jones. Tell your friends about us as well. Thank you.